So it goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Do not do this at home.
Working too well. It's probably very loud.
I've been on the road, I've been doing shows. Now we eating steak, remember sleeping on the floor.
I need a lot of attention to do what I'm doing. Welcome everyone, thank you for tuning in.
In the kitchen, hostage trying to flip it out the stove. Rocking fake J's, praying that nobody know. Watching take my dog away, it was way too hard to stay composed. If I can see the light of day, all they blood on my flow. I was tired every day.
It only took me 42 minutes to make a drink on stream. Just 42.
Well, this rolls for about a minute.
Alright, we'll
I don't
let
like
it do its thing.
Nico. Bring back the long hair.
Did they hear this and us, or just that?
They hear both of us. They hear it all now.
Oh, okay.
It's actually
What's up, y'all?
I have good news, and
Joy.
My hair used to be so much longer.
Joy Nico's long, beautiful hair.
What is up, everyone? Thank you for tuning in. My name's Nico. I go by Cointrick and Cointrick Twitch Online, and today I have Dylan joining us again, TheDylanTay,
That's right. We in here.
aka Flex Luthor.
AKA Beef Wellington. AKA... Come back to me later. I'm usually a lot better.
I feel like
I'm usually a lot better at
Count
this.
Dracula.
Thank you. That's another one. Count Dracula. Quadzilla. That's easy. That's easy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That requires no effort at all. Yeah, come back to me later. I'm usually a lot
Figure
better
out
at
more.
this.
What is my phone is going off? Oh, that's funny. I recorded one of those the AI scripts with Nick and posted it, and he just saw it, even though I posted it days ago. Yeah, he was in town barely for like a couple of days after I got back from Europe.
Oh, nice.
So I managed to meet him at Hannah's place. We didn't have enough time to meet up here, but
Nice.
yeah. Let's try this beer. That is, you can't get it in the U.S.
God, I'm so excited. Oh my god. I don't know if you saw that. I just drew how good it is. Oh my god.
It is very flavorful and like very crisp and refreshing. That's the difference it makes when you have something that's like fresh and direct from the source and doesn't like wait in a warehouse before it has to like get on a ship, and then it's like moved around as it goes over the ocean. The temperature changes. It probably gets exposed to the sun.
God, that's good. That's really good. Damn. Oh, it's probably got mad alcohol in it.
Yeah, probably. I think it's like 11%, something.
That's what I like to hear. I ain't gonna lie, that's kind of half the reason why I drink IPAs so much of the time.
I think that's why many people started drinking IPAs, and then everyone was just like, no, it's for the flavor. I really like the taste of fresh cut grass.
I like some IPAs. I like juicy IPAs. Like that's like my go-to. I'm a juicy IPA guy.
Like filtered like session IPAs, so I'm kind of a wimp when it comes to like hops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Also, if you like this one, you'll probably like the beer that we made.
Hey. Hot off the presses.
This is bottle number 3. This is also, we tried it room temperature yesterday. It's much better when it's still very good when it's at room temperature, but it's much better when it's cold.
Well, you could say that about all beer.
One of these that was open. I do. That one was open.
I'm not sure there's any beer that would be better if it's warm. Except it's like maybe...
You can just taste more.
Yeah.
There we go.
What's like in your opinion, what's like the worst like commercial beer?
You mean like domestic, like super massively produced, widely available?
Correct.
The worst one, probably Heineken. And I may get shit for this, but I think Stella is terrible now. I used to really like it, but now it just tastes like a wheatgrass shake to me.
It's really good too.
Yeah, doesn't it have like the really nice like supple sweet finish to it?
Yeah, it's got like a it's kind of like a nutty taste to it, sort of. For me, I'm gonna say Budweiser.
I mean,
like, Budweiser is such a trash beer that somehow It's diet version Bud Light is still somehow better.
Oh, you mean like straight up regular Bud?
Bud Heavy, as they call it. Bud Regular.
I don't think I've ever had anyone actually ask for. Let me not mix these two beers.
Yeah, so this the.
Okay, now I will mix these two beers. Just a little bit.
Yeah, Budweiser's a shit beer.
It's pretty terrible. I think, like most people, what is widely accessible that is actually not awful would be, like, maybe a Mick Ultra.
Yeah, it's alright.
I think that's what most people, like, especially bartenders, as far as I can tell, that's what we'll order if we just, like, don't like anything that's on the menu, or we don't want to order shots. We're like, just give us a Mick Ultra. I don't want to look at what you have on draft.
Is Mick Ultra the one that's like, it's like the low carb, low calorie one? Because there's like there's a Mick
Is
Light.
it? I have no idea.
I think so, because there's a Michelob, obviously Mick Light, and a Mick Ultra. I think it's like it's supposed to be like a low carb type deal.
There we go. I increased the gain on the mic. The mic is like kind of farther away than it used to be. I wonder actually maybe if I could find a better position for it.
Increase the gains on the camera too, bro.
Increase the gains on the camera.
Yeah, dog.
Increase these gains.
Yeah, dog.
Oh, that's not going to clip there at all. That would give us better audio though. That's definitely not going to work.
Well.
What about that way?
Science. There you go.
Yes, we've done it.
Yes.
You're here. Yeah, that's much better.
You're here.
It always seems like our audio is so much quieter when we live stream from the bar.
God, so good. Big fan.
These are actually both really good. I will say the one that we made is very light. It's probably not very alcoholic.
Probably 4 or 5%.
Maybe less than that. It might be like 2 or 3.
Which just means we can slam a lot of them at one time.
That's true. I don't know how much I have left though. I can find out really quick.
I'm not saying we have to do that. I'm saying we could do that.
We could if we wanted to.
Right.
But now I also want to know how much I have left.
I mean, if we want to go on a drinking marathon on the stream, I'm down.
Maybe not tonight. I did tell Hannah that I actually want to try to drink less because, like, the amount that I drink in a day is just beginning to completely escape me.
Oh, well. So, like, on average, how many... So, what I'm going to call a drink is beers, mixed drinks, shots. All those count as drinks.
Mm-hmm.
How many just cumulatively? What are you throwing back a day?
In a day?
Yeah.
Double digits.
Damn, son. Nice.
It's not meant to be impressive. No one should live the way that I do. But what I mean is, like, it's beginning to kind of... If anyone in chat has ever, like, been addicted to cigarettes or smoked cigarettes habitually, there's a moment when you begin bookending different things. So, like, you'll wake up and have a cigarette. Then you'll have a cigarette before you go to work. Then you'll have a cigarette, like before you go get lunch. You'll have a cigarette when you get home. You'll have a cigarette before you go to bed or whatever. So, like, it begins to bookend things. And Hannah and I have started to become that way with shots because we're so busy all of the time that sometimes it feels like it's a good way for us to, like, reconnect throughout the day.
Yeah.
So, like, she'll bring me a shot while I'm working on stuff in the studio, and, like, I'll bring her a shot. But then also sometimes we get, like, too excited and we lose track of time, and she'll bring me, like, 3 shots in an hour. And I'm like, yeah. I'm feeling good.
So, okay. So, on average, when in the day do you get started drinking?
Well, I guess that's not so bad. I would say 11 a.m.
All right.
It's not terrible. It's not as soon as I wake up, for the record. Because I normally wake up at like 8 or 9.
I know I sounded hella judgmental. I didn't know it. But for me, I can't, just me personally, I can't make myself drink before noon. I can't. I just can't.
Not with that attitude.
True.
It became a ritual for us. Originally, we would take a shot of whatever I happened to have extra stuff of. We would wake up and then like get ready and stuff, and then we would take a shot before she like went to work. And then that turned into like, because I wake up before she does, so like when we're both out of bed, then we'll take a shot, and then she'll take a shot before she goes to the store, and then neither of us ever take shots just alone, which may be part of the problem. So then we'll take a shot before she goes to the store. We'll probably take a shot when she gets back from the store, and then like it just begins to bookend everything that we do. So I told her today, like, we probably need to like cut back on that, and like if we're going to commit to drinking, I guess, then like we kind of need to have a better plan around it, and like maybe begin to just go like, we'll do 5 at first, like cut down to that, and even that is more than you should have in a day. Especially because like I have to go from, well, I don't have to drink when I do this, but I do have more fun when I do, and I feel like it's more educational when I can. So like having that much to drink and then coming here and then drinking on stream and then figuring out, like, there's always about halfway through the live stream I'm like,
shit, I've had like 11 drinks today.
Am I gonna be able to make it home? And there have been a couple where after the live stream, sometimes we'll have like one more drink, and there have been a few times where afterwards, like the last time, I was like, hey, I can't do another shot, but like if you want to have one, you can grab whatever is behind the bar. And I think you were like, no, I'm not gonna take a shot by myself.
Yeah, it's been, well, out of the many years I've been coming here, I've left here pretty sauced many times. It's been a while since I left like that after one of these streams, though. It's definitely for sure happened. Just probably been a few months.
Oh my god! And then I get home, and then we have more drinks. I get home, and then she's like, "You're home." Clink.
Well, I mean, you don't have to wait. Well, I was about to say you don't have to wake up at a certain time, but you also have a very young child, so you probably do.
Yeah, she has to wake up, and somebody has to like get her, change her diaper that she's been sleeping in and getting dirty while she was asleep. Oh damn, Dylan's here. Gucci, what is up? Welcome back, man. How's it going?
What's happening? What's good?
If you don't remember Gucci, he was the one that made the comment about fucking a grapefruit.
Sure do.
Yep.
Good times.
Yo, Virgo Soul, what is up? Welcome. Thank you for tuning in on Twitch. I appreciate it. How's it going?
What up?
We tried to fix the music situation, but I can't say for sure why it isn't working. I made the comment about Kai Green. Yeah, you did. Nobody Google that.
Don't. Just don't. Or do.
It just so happens that Kai Green fucked a grapefruit. It just so happens.
You just kind of
incidentally.
Dick just fell into it.
As tends to happen. Going pretty good, really. Enjoying a Witch Queen at the moment. That's an expansion to Destiny 2. Witch Queen, I really wish I could enjoy it, but I keep having disconnection problems, and I keep getting error code baboon or centipede, and like all of the recommendations that I can find online are just like really dumb fucking generic stuff, like try turning your modem and your router on and off, try power cycling your like all of your equipment or whatever. And I've tried doing that. I've tried verifying all of the files that I have for Destiny 2. I did realize that I had a problem on my firewall where for some reason it was set to block certain outgoing and incoming ports. I didn't set that up, so I just removed those things, and it lessened the frequency of the disconnects, but they still happen, which sucks because like I like to play competitive PvP, and if I disconnect in the middle of a match, I can't get back in, and I suffer like a significant loss in my competitive rank. Happens more often than you'd think, just trying to get in some micronutrients, and then you slip and find yourself balls deep in citrus.
Hey, it'd be like that.
Hey, I've definitely been balls deep in citrus behind the bar. Nobody clip that and take that out of context.
Yeah. I purchased a Switch the other day.
Oh. What are you playing on it?
Well, so far just Smash.
I have a Switch.
Right there. Oh.
How good are you at Smash, Dylan?
Well, considering I'm just kind of getting back into it, I'm not going to say I'm that great.
Fair.
I used to be pretty nice back in the day. But also, when I say back in the day, I mean like Super Smash Bros. Melee. So.
Oh, yeah.
Long. So that
I think
practically
that was
doesn't even
like
count.
our generation's, like if you were a gamer, if you weren't playing like Street Fighter or Marvel vs. Capcom, like if you weren't playing those like side-scrolling fighting games, you were probably playing Super Smash Bros.
100%.
Melee. I think that's the one most of us played the most.
100%. But I'm going to continue to play and practice and get nice again. So, we'll see. I'm definitely not that great though.
I'm not great, but I'm good enough, like even when I go without playing, that like when other people are just like, hey, I just got this new game, I'm like, okay, I'll like fold your clothes with you in them real quick.
Who's your like your main characters that you play with in Smash?
Falco or Greninja. Pretty much. If I'm playing against somebody and Falco isn't working, sometimes I'll go to use like Fox or somebody who's similar. But really those two. I used to be really into playing Little Mac, and then I couldn't get over his like complete lack of ledge protection.
I just unlocked him today.
And I liked Incineroar also.
He's a beast.
He's really fun.
Yeah. Guess who mine is? It's you already
Link.
know. Yeah, of course.
The hero of time.
Of course.
Which Link do you play? Because I haven't
Standard.
played it in a long time, but there's multiple ones, aren't they?
Standard Link, Young Link, and Toon Link. They all have the exact same skill set for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, some of them just have like different activation times, and
Toon
the
Link-
animations are a little bit different.
Toon Link seems to be a bit quicker than the other two.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to be a quick bit, but that's about it.
It's probably like the difference between Falco and Fox. They have like very similar movesets, but when Falco hits you, it hits you harder and like it actually stuns you and pushes you back.
Mm-hmm.
But like when Fox hits you, you can just like straight up walk through his lasers.
Pretty much. Donkey Kong's my other.
I really liked playing Donkey Kong, but mostly because I liked winding up the thing and then just getting my ass beat and then just getting it at just the right time.
That's the most, in my opinion, that's the most disrespectful, disheartening move in all of Smash.
I like playing Ganondorf as well.
Yeah, same. He is so goddamn slow, but if he connects, you're done for.
I like him. He and Incineroar have like a similar a move. I think it's their side smash, where they like move to the side, grab you, and then I think with Incineroar, he throws you, and then he does some like wrestling move that has a chance to like catapult you.
Yeah, I think so.
For Ganondorf though, you can jump off the map and do it to somebody, and it slams them straight down.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a beast.
It's fully disrespectful.
It
I love
is.
doing it.
It
That
is.
and just getting people with the big whoop.
Oh, dude, it's so disheartening if that connects and he knocks your guy off screen.
Yeah, you're trying to get back to the ledge, and you see him just go.
Oh, dude, it's disrespectful.
Thank you for the new follow. I heart my dog 0612. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in on Twitch, and thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. How's it going?
What's good? Also, like Marth.
Oh, now we have desktop audio. Oh, that was the alert. Got it. John-Luke likes playing. John-Luke and Nick and everyone else really seems to like playing all of the Fire Emblem characters, or just like any of those like heavy sword wielding characters like Marth, Roy, Ike, just depending on like what like style they want to go with, I guess, even though all of their movesets are pretty identical.
They're all pretty safe bets too. Like,
I think typically Marth is like the higher tier of those three.
Yeah.
That's what most people pick.
yeah. Yeah.
More to drink. Did you want more of the beer?
Well, we may as well finish this.
Yeah.
It's out.
If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Like my. Oh well, this is wildly uneven.
I'm also keeping the bottles.
There we go.
Because since I make my own beer, I can actually technically put whatever I want in there.
Where would I go? Would really
Muscle
like
Beach, Long Beach, California.
What's
No,
that
wait.
shit?
Yeah, Long Beach.
Venice Beach.
You're right, Venice Beach.
Long Beach is Snoop Dogg.
They're connected. California's only got one coastline. They're connected,
That's
probably.
true. No, that's true. I mean, if you kept walking up in the beach, you'd definitely get from Long Beach to Venice Beach.
Yeah, Venice Beach is the one filled with like street performers and stuff there.
Yeah.
So is the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
I'd like to go to Ireland.
Ooh, what would you do in Ireland?
Get wrecked.
Pub crawl.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, just get,
I feel like because of your size, people would take it upon themselves to see how much they could get you to drink.
Oh, I'm sure. I'd totally be down for it, though. It'd be great. Just drinking, like, get, real deal Guinness, Jameson, and just other shit I don't even know about. You know what I mean?
Probably.
That, alcohol-wise, obviously. Obviously, I want to explore. I would like to. It's probably really sketchy up there. I want to go to Northern Ireland too, like Belfast. I hear Belfast is kind of sketchy. I think.
Is it? I actually don't know very much about Ireland, like culturally or geographically.
Yeah. So Belfast is I guess technically the capital or the largest city of Northern Ireland, but that was where like a hefty portion of during the Troubles, like when the IRA was, I think the IRA was based in Belfast, so they were doing a lot of gangster shit in Belfast back in the day, and it's always been kind of a little suspect ever since then, from my understanding, from an American who's never been there, but still it probably seems like a fascinating place to go visit.
I feel like a flight to Ireland can't be that expensive.
No,
the reason I ask is because like I want to get more into like travel content. We have a bunch of footage that my editor is looking over and working on now, and we might end up just pawning that off on a separate service to put together kind of like a travel reel, because I keep getting approached by like hospitality and like alcohol brands who like represent travel and tourism like companies. So like I don't have very much crossover with them just now, but that's why it was so sick that I got to like bartend on a technicality in Geneva.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
The guy was the owner's name was Lot. He was actually really cool. I'm
assuming they knew you already?
So I actually got recognized the first night we were in Geneva, which is weird because that makes it the third time I've ever been recognized in public.
Did that trip you out?
Yes, that was very weird for me because also I was running on very little sleep, but it just so happened that this club was connected to the building our Airbnb was in, and they had a back door into our building. So the first night we were there, we like unpacked, we like relaxed a little bit, we changed into clean clothes. Factory? No, I wish.
Sorry.
We changed into clean clothes, went downstairs, and we went to the front door. And we were like, well, it's locked, and like the glass is like super tinted, so you can't see anything inside. Then we went around to the back door, which we'd noticed was open before, and we just like walked in through the back door, and this guy was like, "Hey, whoa, was that door open?" And we were like, "Yeah." He was already speaking English to us, which was new because we'd just been trying to speak French the entire time. And we were like, "Yeah, but are you open?" And he's like, "Yeah, we're open, but it's a club in here." And I was like, that's fine. Is it okay if we just sit at the bar and have drinks? And he was like, yeah, come on. His coworker recognized me. And then we found out that he was actually the owner of the club and had an apartment above the club
the
also.
Guy
that
was who greeted you?
across from our Airbnb.
So crazy.
So like the next day, we were sitting out on this landing that we could access through this window. And so we were just sitting out there. Hannah was smoking a cigarette. And the window to the adjacent apartment opened up. And he's just standing there, and we're looking at each other like, how are you here right now? And that's when he explained that like he owned the club downstairs. He has an apartment up above it. He doesn't live in the apartment, but sometimes like if the club is open until 5 a.m. or people don't leave until 6 a.m, he'll just like take the back door that leads up into his apartment from inside the club, which was super cool.
That is cool.
I also got to go into the apartment because he had a piano in there, and like one night, the second night that we were in Geneva, we stayed up just talking to him until like 5 a.m, and he was like, yeah, I'm trying to learn how to play piano. And I was like, oh, dude, I know how to play a little bit of piano. So we went up there to his little apartment. There was another bartender there that was playing his piano, which was weird. But they were really cool. And so we played a little bit of piano. He was like preparing some hookahs and stuff up there. Then we went back downstairs into the club, and he was like, you know what? I know the owner of the bar that's right next door, and they're still open for another couple of hours, because we'd mentioned to him that we keep walking by there.
Hold on. This is at 5 a.m. and they were open for a couple.
This was
more hours?
after that.
Oh Jesus!
This was the next day.
Oh okay. I was about to say Jesus.
It was actually this was the last night that we were there. So we went back downstairs, and he was like, you know what? You guys didn't get to see my friend's bar, and like I know he's over there. Do you want to just like walk out and like go into his bar? So we go over, and he opens the door, and they're going back and forth in French, just saying like c'est fermé, which means like, or c'est terminé, which means like, is it closed? Are you done? And the guy's like, yeah, who is that with you? And he said something in French, but I picked up bartender, which is obvious, it's the same word in English. And he was like, oh, he put down everything that he was doing. He was like, come in. And it was two guys that own it. There are two brothers that own that bar. And they also had a piano in there. And because of that, I guess he had been talking about meeting us. So there are two of them. One of them is more of like the business brother, I think, and the entertainer. And I think the other one is more of like the mixologist of the two. The older brother had recently won an award for the best margarita in Switzerland, I think. And then his younger brother, the business minded one, had just released like an at-home batched cocktail set.
Damn.
And he like just gave us one. He was like, take this home with you. And we were like,
Damn.
Do you want us to drink it now? And he's like, no, you don't have to drink it now. That's a gift for you. You don't pay for it. Just take it home.
Wow. How cool.
That was actually really cool. And then
Damn.
they had a bunch of instruments in there, and they were like, oh yeah, Lot told us that you play the piano. And I was like, I'm not great at the piano. And so I walked over to the piano that they had, and I started playing Ordinary People by John Legend.
I was not a bad pick. I was going to say Rocket Man by Elton John.
I'm not that good. I can play like the first, everything up to the bridge, I think, from Ordinary People, because it's like, I don't know what it is about the way my hands move across the keys, but I never have to take my hands fully off of any of the keys and try and reorient them. So it's pretty easy for me to like play and then like scoot over and just crawl across the keyboard.
God, man, that sounds so cool.
It was really fun.
You trying to go back with me?
I would like to. I think honestly, if we went back, I might be able to talk to Lot and just ask him like, "Hey, like I'll work in the bar if you want me to."
Dude, if we traveled anywhere, it would be a blast. It can really.
That's true.
It can honestly be wherever.
There's another travel thing that I actually want to do, and this is more of like so is this a speakeasy but specifically for bartenders? No, it wasn't a speakeasy. But business over there is very different than I'm used to here in the U.S. Like, if the owner of the bar likes you, they can just let you in there. Like, they don't have to close at a certain time. There's not really any sort of noise ordinance, as far as I can tell. They don't have to charge you for anything if they don't want to. Even Lot in his club, he was when we were there at 5 a.m. that one night, which we only did one night.
Was there anybody else there?
No. Well, his girlfriend was there originally, and then she went up to the apartment upstairs and just passed out. Also, you can smoke inside.
Damn, I ain't been able to do that here in a while.
Yeah, that was so weird. And also why I'm still coughing now, because like I didn't smoke with them, but
smoking,
just like being around
cigarettes.
Them. Yeah, cigarettes.
Oh.
And CBD also, but their CBD is a little bit
CBD.
different from ours. Like they're allowed to sell CBD that has like a certain percentage of THC.
Their CBD over there is called THC.
Is it?
No.
Oh, okay. Damn it! So confident.
No.
Are you trying to propose to Nico or something? Already taken. I just don't have my ring. Hannah needs to get me a ring.
It might. Well, Gucci gang. I'll have you know. We've been going steady for about a decade now.
That's true.
Longer, actually. So
long.
So long.
So steady.
So steady.
But like an end goal, like end career goal for me as far as travel goes is to have some sort of, to try and set up some sort of like traveling, like service industry bartending mixology show that is like somewhere between Anthony Bourdain and like Top Gear. I think that awesome. It would be really fun to do that with like,
that sounds awesome.
Like you, me, and John Luke, or like getting 3 personalities that mesh really well together.
Yes, that would be great.
I've also thought of doing something like that with Hannah.
I'm down. I'll quit my job. Whatever.
I would need to find funding. I know like a few people that I could ask about like where to take the concept, if that makes sense, but I kind of want to get a little bit more mileage, for lack of a better term, under my belt and doing more like travel stuff, doing more blog stuff, and making more mixology and service industry centric content, because the content I've been making that's been doing really well is the AI scripts.
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do with anything. But it does, that's pretty appealing to, I would like to think, the system like that is appealing to companies that are trying to release TV shows, movies, commercials, and things like that, because they can ask you to spoof one of their like things if they wanted to.
Yeah.
The only thing I would need from them is I could technically ask them to write the spoof. But if they want me to do it, I would need them to give me a screenplay, and it would be more helpful because I tried to do this earlier today. I tried to program the AI bot to write a script for Twilight, but to do it, you have to program voices into the predictive text, which means that you have to separate the screen directions as one text file, and then all of one person's lines as a separate text file, and all of another person's lines as a separate text file. Yeah, I started on just the first script, and I think I made it 10% of the way through isolating maybe less, of isolating the screen directions. Which, by the way, Twilight has very little dialogue, I learned, as I was like going through and taking things apart.
Huh. So, I mean, I don't know anything.
There are like several minutes that go, there are pages of the screenplay that go by that just describe like how Bella looks at Edward, or like how Edward smells, and like how the camera is supposed to move. There are some lines where it describes how the camera is supposed to feel, which is not like,
that's alarming,
something that you're supposed to have. Like any sort of emotional words aren't supposed to exist in a screenplay, because you can't, what that sounds like to you might look different to other people.
Right.
So like saying something like he looked at her longingly makes sense, but saying he looked at her thinking about this other thing, it's like, how can you can't act out thinking about something.
Right.
He looked at her thinking about something else.
Yeah, no.
Just like staring off into space. I'm guessing Nico's a bottom then.
Sure is.
Actually, so fun fact, I learned that I'm a top, and this is a long story. I'm not gay, but you guys want to buckle in for this. There's no grapefruit involved in this story, but I realized that I'm a top because I was in bed with Hannah. Nothing was happening, but we do sleep in the nude. If this makes you uncomfortable, I don't know, shut your ears. We're at a bar. So we were sleeping, and I turn over to be the little spoon, which bottom move, I will admit. And I feel her thigh just gently pull my cheeks apart by accident. And I was like, I nearly woke up Rosalie because she sleeps in the same room. And that's when I realized I was probably a top. I also realized it's probably much harder to be a bottom. Like, you have to be much more of a man. But that's how I learned I'm a top.
Well, now we know.
That's going to be in my stand-up set.
That was great.
I told Hannah that, like, the very next morning, and she laughed so hard she had to use the bathroom.
Well, if you're top, then do I have to be the bottom? Can I be a switch? That's what they're called, right?
You could be a switch. I don't really understand the whole dichotomy between those two things, but also it's because I've never really had to choose.
Right.
Pretty.
Nor have I.
Firmly straight.
Yeah. Facts.
Whoop, that's my mom. Is she coming down here with Rosalie? Very few sentences start with, "So hey, my fiance pulled apart my ass cheeks the other day." Not, well, more than you would probably think, but just this one from me. So we were in bed. That's not even like the first. I have like some really funny stories from just being in bed. Nothing like crazy sexual or anything like that. There was another one that I wrote down a long time ago, but it was when I was still going out with Beth, if you remember her.
Yes, I do.
And we were just in bed, like having a moment, looking into each other's eyes, and like she's got her hands in my hair or whatever, and then she just looks at me and goes, "Are you gonna go bald like your dad?" And without missing a beat, this was shortly after my dad, well, relatively shortly after my dad passed away. But without missing a beat, I just looked at her and I go, "Are you going to go bald like your mom?" And she goes, "My mom had cancer." And I was like, same deal. Same question. Still a valid question.
Amazing. Perfect comedic timing.
There's a thing about, like, you realize that you have the mind of a comedian when it's not necessarily that nothing is sacred, but there's always part of you trying to find the joke.
Oh, for sure.
All of the time.
For sure.
You just have to be tactful about not making the joke all of the time. I think that's what separates, like, good comedians from people like Dane Cook.
Yeah.
Who just, like, can't shut up.
I'm a firm believer that pretty much anything can be made to be funny. Or there's humor in, like, literally everything.
Yeah.
Now, well, I mean, you can get pretty hairy with, like, certain subjects, like, really, I mean, well, I don't need to say it, but you can think of a few things off the top of your head there. It will be like, well, that's a little dicey territory, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, there's definitely a few, like 9/11 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In comedy, there's, there are no rules written anywhere, really, but there's this idea called the 2-year rule, where, like, after a mass tragedy, you're supposed to wait 2 years before you try to make a joke about it, just because otherwise it's in poor taste.
I've never even heard that.
You would have to hear about it from another comedian. Like,
Oh.
it's just not something that anyone no one's bothered to try and write this down. But who was it that I think it was maybe Dave Chappelle who recently got into hot water about this, because he made some joke about, maybe it was a school shooting or something like that. But it would be like if a comedian made a joke about the Ukrainian-Russian war now.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that you should wait. The theory, the window of time, the statute of limitation is that it's 2 years after the tragedy ends that it's okay to bring it up.
I would say that's a little bit different, at least living in America, because we can and people do joke about it, and take it more lightheartedly because it's not really affecting us. Like, it's not in our backyard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, like, if you're a Ukrainian comedian or whatever, yeah,
Like their president.
Yeah, right. Correct.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
The other thing we noticed while we were in the UK, not the UK, in Europe, was that the news that you have in Europe, one, you get it much faster, obviously, but two, they report on more stuff over there. I will take one shot of something. White rum. The big old Bacardi back there. Big Bacardi energy.
I feel like it's a bad sign when liquor comes in a plastic bottle.
No, it's just cheaper for them to produce that way.
I know.
Bacardi Superior doesn't necessarily have like a glowing reputation, but it is widely accepted to be like a cheap,
Yeah.
like a cost-effective, like relatively quality, like rail.
You could do a lot
rum.
worse. Yeah,
You could do so much worse. Like I have a tequila up there that I just refuse to use for anything. I can't even take shots of it. It's awful.
Which is
The Hacienda. It's behind the gin. Yeah. Also, I'm friends with now because of my TikTok and everything. I'm friends with so many like whiskey enthusiasts, bubbly tequila enthusiasts, gin enthusiasts.
Is this worse than Jose Cuervo?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Jose's pretty bad.
I had to get that because it was during the liquor. Though we're still going through a liquor shortage technically, but it was earlier in the liquor shortage, and I went to the ABC store here, and that's like all they had. They had like that, and then like worse stuff. They also had Jose Cuervo, but I was like, well, I know Cuervo's bad. They didn't have the Tradicional. Jose Cuervo Tradicional is not awful because it is actually made with 100% Blue Weber agave. But then they had this, and I was like, well, this might be better. It's not.
Well, I'm not opposed to testing that theory at some point this evening. I'm just saying.
It might be the last shot we take.
And on that note,
Santé.
oh yeah,
That's not supposed to be bent that way.
that's what you said.
A little bit to the left.
Same. Huh?
What?
What? Yeah, Smash
Nobody
Bros.
clip that and take that out of context.
Yeah, Smash Bros.
Oh my god. While I was... Jesus Christ. I was trying to find screenplays to generate the Twilight script using this bot. And it's very hard to find original screenplays. You can find scripts. The difference between a script and a screenplay is a script is just what people are doing and what people are saying. A screenplay includes screen directions. So it'll tell you, like, interior, Edward Cullen's basement. And it'll tell you, like, the time of day of the week, and all
so
this
like
other
setting
stuff.
and stage directions.
Yeah. So I need those because otherwise it would just be, like, talking back and forth. And that's just not what I've done so far. So as I was trying to find these, it turns out it's very hard to find the original screenplays for these movies. But it's very easy to find screenplays for porn parodies of these movies. And I feel like I should just read those instead.
Do it. We can read one. I'm down.
Oh, God. I'll think about it. I didn't actually look at them, so I'm kind of... I don't know what a porn screenplay would look like. Well, I know what it would look like. But I don't know I don't know what it would sound like.
Don't know how it would read.
Yeah. I don't know how it would feel.
Well, you do, but
We're not going to talk about that.
you being a top, you
Yeah.
know exactly how it feels.
She gently pulled apart his cheeks.
Yeah.
And he whimpered like a small dog. Okay, but the worst saying is, there's nothing worse than enter minor inconvenience here, like soggy pastry or chunky milk. But I can think of so much worse, like 9/11, the Holocaust, genocide in general, Epstein Island, the massacre in Tiananmen Square in 1989. Honestly, Gucci, that's very true. And it's sobering to see you say something that is just concretely true. I thought all of that was going to build up to, like, and also season 4, episode 13 of Friends, or some like really random thing.
But you know, I think you can make jokes about all that stuff.
Yeah. Also, I think that phrase is always used contextually. When someone says, there's nothing worse than whatever, like, there's nothing worse than creamy peanut butter. It's contextual. Like, they're saying that because within the context of whatever it is that you guys are talking about, it is worse
Yeah.
than whatever you guys are talking. It's not the worst thing that's ever happened.
It's not like an absolute type thing.
There is that one joke that's like, what's worse than bee sting? 2 bee stings. What's worse than 2 bee stings?
3 bee stings.
The Holocaust. What's worse than the Holocaust? 3 bee stings. Dylan looks like he's the bouncer for the bar. We could, like, almost...
Not the first time I've heard that.
We could almost, like, fake stage an entire bar scene just with the people that we have and the set that we have. Well, season 4, episode 13 of Friends is subpar at best, but I'd rather have the Twin Towers and 3,000 people not die than not have that episode. That's true.
Facts. Honestly, just get rid of Friends altogether. In my opinion.
That's fair. It doesn't hold up.
Just throw it out.
Like, I was fine in the 90s if you were, like, white cisgendered male. But, like, looking back, it doesn't become self-aware for, like, 2 episodes. Like, or 2 seasons. In the first season, like, they're making very explicit fun of how effeminate Joey is and Chandler are. But all of the dudes. But, like, they openly, it's not even tongue-in-cheek, they openly joke about how gay they seem. And I think there's a space for comedy like that, but the butt of the joke can't be that this person is gay.
Yeah.
or this person acts gay. Like, that can happen, and you can use that as fuel for a joke. It can't be the point of the joke.
Yeah, it's just lazy.
Yeah.
It's lazy and it's tired out. It's played out.
Yeah, it's like making fun of anybody for anything that they have no control over. It's like making fun of people. Well, you can make fun of people for being white because that's an example of punching up.
Yeah.
But like making fun of people because they're poor, right? That doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah.
If the butt of the joke is that they're poor, but you can make fun of somebody who maybe is in dire straits because of the things that they have to resort to doing.
Yeah, you can,
like,
you can
hey man,
that in
you
there.
ever been so poor that every once in a while, the second Thursday of every month, you just grab your Glock, you walk out into your backyard and pop a few rounds off in the air to make sure rent stays low?
Yeah.
That's an example of punching
Yeah.
like directly across. You're making fun of poor people in some respect, but the butt of the joke isn't that people are poor.
It's okay to sprinkle it in there, but like making it the butt of the joke is just lazy.
The butt of the joke was that Ross was so bad in bed that his wife became a lesbian. Yeah.
Is that true?
Yep. It doesn't. The show doesn't hold up. You know what does hold up? Frasier.
We were talking about this last time. I
Yes.
haven't never seen Frasier.
Damn it. It's highbrow comedy, so I don't think it did particularly well in the 90s. I say it holds up, but also I haven't watched it since I was 20.
I haven't watched it since 1999. I've been watching a classic American television program by the name of Hey Arnold recently.
Where are you watching that?
Hulu.
Oh.
I've been killing some Hey Arnold recently.
I need some recommendations for stuff because, like, there's so much that maybe you identify with this, but there's so much that I have to wait for Hannah to watch. And with her, and it's nothing against her or anything like that, I'm perfectly willing to wait. But we both need to be on the same wavelength to want to watch some of these shows.
Yeah.
Because they're gritty, deep, like visceral shows, and typically the fleeting moments of quality time that we have together, we're so tired from like her going to work and like entertaining all of these people, me coming, well, I'm not necessarily super tired from doing this ever because my job's a blast, but like it's typically that I get antsy and I want to watch these things, and I'm like, hey, do you think tonight maybe we could watch Shang-Chi? And she's like, I don't know, like I'm really tired, and I don't want to watch it if she's not going to be able to like listen and pay attention.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like a one-sided experience where she's just sitting on the couch with me, zoned out, letting everything wash over her. So we tend to watch things like Family Guy, American Dad,
easy watching,
Bob's Burgers. We've watched and rewatched a lot of like animated sitcom comedy.
Yeah, same. Archer's a favorite.
I tried to get her to watch Archer, but I think the animation style for that one is too like animatronic for her.
Yeah, I love it.
I do too.
The writing is just
She loves the writing, but she can't get over the animation and how like blocky it seems to be.
Yeah, I mean I get that, I guess.
I like it because it looks like the style of animation that I could achieve with guidance. If I had someone who was like, this is the software you're going to use, this is how you're going to rig your models, like these are all of the drawings that you have to have. Archer is fucking beautiful. It is. But the animation style is very unique. And if you didn't grow up watching things like C-Lab 2021 and stuff like that, then that animation style probably feels very foreign.
You know the show's kind of like that? Did you ever watch when you were growing up Johnny Quest?
Yeah.
Johnny Quest is kind of like that, sort of.
I feel like it is. I don't remember the show strongly enough. I remember the characters. I remember Johnny. I remember his Sikh friend.
Yeah.
And his dad, and then some sort of ginger Captain Nemo-esque person.
Don't remember.
Or Ahab.
Yeah.
Type character.
Nemo.
And his dog, who I think his name was Bruno.
Couldn't say.
Now I want to know. I want to know if I remember that obscure fact. I'm going to be wrong. Watch it be like, no, his dog's name is Skip.
Spot.
Can we talk about how Lana stole Archer's sperm? Like, that feels really iffy.
Yeah.
Stuff like that happens a lot more than people realize, I feel like. One, yes, obviously that's very gross. But it's like the story about Drake when I think it was Drake, when he had fun he wore protection and had sex with this, I think, supermodel or something somewhere. And then when they were done with the deed, he went into the bathroom and poured hot sauce into the condom to keep her from like collecting the sperm and impregnating herself with it, which sounded crazy, and everyone focused in on that. Nobody focused on the fact that she did actually go and had the reason that she realized that there was hot sauce or Tabasco or whatever in there was because she tried to steal his sperm.
Yeah. Wild. Fucking wild.
Johnny Quest's dog. Bandit.
Bruno, Bandit, same thing. Is that what you said, Bruno?
I said Bruno, but I was very close.
Close.
The Tabasco fiasco. That's my porn name.
Yeah, it is. The Tabasco top. The topping Tabasco.
Tabasco.
Better.
Is it though? I am Tabasco. He is Tabasco.
Oh, nice. My poor name is Two Pump Chump. Well. It's alright, man.
I feel like I need to drink some water. Did you want any water or anything?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'll stick with
I'll be right back.
alcoholic beverages. Keeping in the spirit with the show.
In spirit.
That's right. It's fine. I did lift 5 plates. I used to be able to. Actually, no, I still can. Well, not currently. Got to get ACL surgery next week. So, yeah. Whack. For one singular rep. That's fine. That's respectable. I'm kind of curious to try this horrible tequila.
I mean, did you smell it?
No.
It smells like straight petrol. For starters. Gucci says, "Wait, Dylan, quick question. Have you ever had experience with Rad 140?
Yeah, I have actually. Probably about 2 or 3
Is that
times.
a pre-workout?
No, it's, so you know what SARMs are?
No.
So SARM is an acronym for Selective Androgen Receptor Modulator. But pretty much what it is, it mimics so anabolic steroids, they're all analogs of testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
What SARMs do, they are meant and designed to mimic those same pathways that steroids interact with the body without having the aromatizing, aka estrogenic effects, essentially. They come in, I don't know if they're injectable, but the way I've taken them come in pill form. You can get them at some supplement stores. And Rad 140, I think, is it's not there's one that's like a growth, it mimics the pathways of growth hormone, and I think Rad 140 might be the one that mimics testosterone straight up, if I'm not mistaken. Someone want to fact check me on that? Am I right on that?
Selective androgen receptor modulators.
Called it.
Dylan knows his shit. I know cocktails and alcohol. Dylan knows gains.
Yes, sir. Found a bottle in my cousin's room and I went completely apeshit on him. He's fit. Well, okay.
Wow, that's different.
If he's, yeah, I mean, if you're like, I'm 30, so like that's one thing. But if you're 15, you should go apeshit on him. If you're that age, you have no business taking any of that stuff.
Yeah, your body should be hopped up on as much
Food.
Hormones and stuff and everything that you should need.
Food,
like, you don't need those supplements and stuff. He's not even done growing.
Yeah. For anybody out there watching, if you ever decide to get in that world, the absolute earliest you should touch that stuff is 25 years old. I would even say really 30. but the earliest is 25.
I would recommend waiting until you're 30 because that is kind of when your
testosterone drops.
Yeah, well, like all of your what is this? All of your lymphatic? No, it's not your nervous system. Basically, all of the hormones in your body. That's when the production of all of those things really begins to like kind of plateau and taper off.
Yeah.
And then I think after your 40s, typically is when it just like begins to crash.
It's something crazy. Like I think after you turn 35 or 40, you lose or like it drops something crazy, like 5% a year or some shit like that, 3% a year, like it's crazy high.
If I were to take one, what would I take? I would probably assume that I would take something that would be for growth hormone, probably, because while it is obviously good for growth, it's also used to regulate a bunch of other things.
Growth hormones. I ain't gonna lie to you. If I had growth hormone money, I'd take growth hormone.
Oh, I meant like
straight up
a SARM.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I know. But like I can't ever. The names for them are all like that. They're like Rad 140. There's one called YK11. There's one called GW 501-516. Like they all have those type of names.
How expensive are they?
Not that expensive.
Okay.
Like a month supply is $50-$60.
Is it something that you could take medicinally as like a treatment, or is it something that you should only use if you're going to be like very physically active?
I would say with with Rad 140 and the one, just the name's not coming to me right now, the one that mimics growth hormone, you can take those forever, indefinitely. But with other SARMs that are more the analogs, they more specialize in and target, those are things that you would want to like cycle, basically. But like growth hormone and testosterone, you can, or things that mimic that, you can take that forever.
That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
Growth hormone gets a bad rap because I think most people hear it and they're like, oh, that sounds like something you're not supposed to put in your body. But no, like you produce growth hormone like when you sleep and stuff like that. So
it's good stuff. Like,
yeah.
I mean, okay, so I talk about this with, we've probably talked about it before. I talk about this with my friends a lot. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I don't know if you've noticed this, but he's about 50 years old. He's about twice as big and looks twice as good as he did when he was like 40 or 30.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and bet all my money that
he's taking some sort of HGH.
100,000%.
Yeah.
In testosterone. But he's at that age where he needs to.
And that's the difference it makes. I mean, it's doing those things isn't going to make you look like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Obviously, he's got a very rigorous like diet and workout routine as well.
Correct.
But it does, it improves your chances of like maintaining some aspect of your youth and virility. I guess if you're a guy.
Absolutely. The impact and improvement in your quality of life cannot be understated.
Hey yo, Gil the Satyr, what is up? Welcome. Thank you for tuning in, showing up in chat. I appreciate it. welcome on Twitch, I think. How's it going?
Growth hormone gets a bad rep because of DMT obsessed man. Well, he's sort of Joe Rogan.
Ah. Oh my god, that guy. There's an AI script for Joe Rogan, but I don't want to read it. I would rather have you read it.
I'll read it. Let's do it at some point.
Wonder I could try and find it on my phone. But normally I like recording them in the studio. The problem is that I live with two large dogs who are very territorial.
Oh, you
so
got
like
dogs?
yeah.
Oh.
So even when I had Nick there and we were recording, I had to just let the dogs out in the backyard and wait for them to stop barking so that I could record with Nick.
Mm.
Let me see if I can find it.
Now I want to know what the SARM is for growth hormone. Please enjoy this dead time while we look up things.
I forced a bot to listen to over 1,000 hours of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast and then asked it to write a Joe Rogan Experience podcast of its own. Here is the first page. Do you guys want to hear it?
Sound off in the comment section. Okay, so the growth hormone SARM is MK677, which I knew. Rad 140 is Yep, for testosterone. So I was most of the way there.
If I were to order those, is that something I can order on Amazon? For the record, everyone in chat, I'm not trying to get swole because, to be completely frank, I don't really even have the time to go to the gym, even though I pay for a membership like an idiot. But I like don't get enough sleep and all of this other stuff, so I definitely feel sometimes like my thyroid and like all of my hormones and stuff are just constantly out of whack. Do not order Rad 140. Got it.
No. I mean,
PCT is
post-cycle therapy.
Oh.
It's what you're supposed to do after you take SARMs or steroids.
Oh yeah, you're supposed to cycle off of them. Yeah.
And knows exactly what he's doing. Well, I'm actually on testosterone replacement therapy, so that's that.
Wow. Oh, what's the story with your surgery for your everything in your leg?
Next Tuesday, I'm having it. Having reconstructive surgery. So my ACL and meniscus cannot be repaired. They have to be reconstructed. So I'm getting dead people things put in my knee. Cadaver, meniscus, and ACL.
So fucking metal.
Yeah, metal as fuck. Because apparently that part of the knee, there's really no type of blood circulating at all, really, to speak of.
Mm-hmm.
So that severely...
You can't do like perfusion or something
Yeah.
to like get it to...
It severely impacts the ability to have those things repaired should they tear, which mine have. And the two common things is, I think it's called an autograft or an allograft or something like that. But anyways, one is where bones or pieces of your tendon are taken from other parts of your body to act as your new whatever was torn in your knee. And what I'm getting, the other option is you're getting cadaver tendons, cadaver parts, pretty much, and I'm getting that put into my knee.
They can't get you like parts from a horse or like something that would give you superpowers in one leg.
I wish. That'd be dope. I mean, I would think like after I'm fully recovered, this knee should be, I would hope, fucking indestructible for like the rest of my life. But
yeah, if you do the recovery and stuff on it, because
Sure.
like you're essentially going to have new tendons that you have to retrain, and you have to retrain some of those pathways and stuff too, I think.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting like literally another person's like stuff put into my knee.
So you have an endocrinologist? Is that what he's asking?
I mean, I have a doctor who's prescribed it to me, and he's not an endocrinologist specifically. That's what you're asking.
Now, when you say doctor, you
A doctor.
mean like, oh, okay.
A doctor, and not like Dr. Dre.
I have a drug dealer, but he has a PhD in veterinary science.
Yeah, no, it's a doctor.
He works on horses.
No, a doctor. So, let's talk about health for a minute. So, why I am on testosterone replacement therapy is because when I got because I usually get my blood work checked about twice a year, just because getting your blood work checked is a good thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
At least once a year, so you just know what's going on inside. Make sure your markers are good. Make sure there's nothing you need to be concerned about. When I got my levels checked, my testosterone levels were that of like a 65-year-old man. Like they were like bad.
Was it
Bad.
from anything like overactive adrenals, thyroid condition?
Couldn't say. I mean, it's probably a combination of genetics, environmental factors, probably those two things, honestly. And like when I say like environmental factors, it's like a lot of little things that you wouldn't even think about, like plastics, like drinking out of plastics with kind of like with BPA in them. Before that was outlawed or outlawed. Just stuff like that. But it was bad. So, and I'm also now of that age where I'm starting to need it, or I would need it anyways.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel old, actually.
So
I say that, but like we talked about feeling old a lot. It doesn't mean to be like the focus of this ever. But it's, I think like when you're in your 30s, that's when you start to actually feel like I'm not young anymore. Like there are things I can't ask my body to do, and I can't expect my body to do without significant
like preparation,
I'm not even joking.
and I have to plan for so many things to go wrong as well.
I'm not even joking. That was a complete, like, it almost like somebody flipped the switch when I turned 30. Like, because I had that mindset all the way up until the day I turned 30. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense when I put it like that. But ever since I turned 30, and the fact that this happened, like, it's causing, like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know how else to describe it. But, like, that, yeah, I can speak to that.
I have a doctor with a PhD in economics from the Southern Haiti Institute of Technology who sold me a ton of shrooms. Holy shit, I'm a vegan now.
Ugh.
Oh,
If you're going to be a vegan, just don't be an annoying one.
Yeah, you can be a vegan and not bother people with it. You could be many things and not bother anybody with it.
Okay, here's my thing with vegans, right? Like, if you are being a vegan because that's how you prefer to eat, or if it's like an animal rights issue for you, more power to you, that's great. But, like, there are those people who, like, will fully insist that, like, across the board, being vegan is going to make you healthier. Like, your blood markers are going to be better. Those are the ones I don't like.
Yeah, you're going to be healthier. That it's like a one-size-fits-all. It's not even like a diet. It's like a lifestyle that everyone should adopt. It's better for a human body.
And the science and data doesn't flesh that out either.
I remember I was in high school once. We had a class called Theory of Knowledge, and part of it was sometimes that we had to try to argue points. So like one of them was I did a presentation, just for context. I did a presentation on the origin, use, and like merits of numerology. So like vegans were in that category of thinking. That was one of the other things that we had to choose from, and I chose numerology instead of that. And I had one of our classmates decided to pick that one instead because she was vegan. And one of her biggest points was like, if you look at the human digestive system, like even our teeth are designed for plants. It's easier for your body to turn animal matter into more animal matter because that's what we are.
Yeah.
It is harder for your body to turn plant matter into animal matter. It has to do more, which is why you can eat. What is it like? There are some foods that have like negative caloric intake because it takes more energy to actually eat them.
Celery,
I can't remember. Yeah, celery is a big one.
Cabbage, lettuce. And like, and those same people will say like really crazy things like, people like humans were never meant to eat meat. That's such a crazy, just wrong thing to say.
Yeah.
Like, it's also like in a lot of ways those same type of I'm not talking about all vegans, but like a very particular type of vegan. It's also like kind of classist in a way. I feel like because many untold amounts of people all over the world don't have the luxury to only resort to eating fresh fruits and vegetables every day. Like it's,
especially now, so many people don't have
it's not realistic.
The land to grow any of that stuff, or they don't have the money to go out and buy it. As well, there's like, as far as I remember, I can't cite a specific study, so someone call me wrong if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the human toll in collecting that, like food matter, vegetable food matter, is plant food matter, is much higher. Like, you need more people, and you need to take more advantage of them to make that profitable, which is why so many people were like, you think you're doing this like huge noble thing, when in reality you're just taking advantage of other people who are basically working like slave wages, slave hours to collect these things for you, so that someone else can charge you $20 for this.
Absolutely.
2 avocados.
Being vegan is not karma free.
Roddy's live. What is up? Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. Follow Age. A year, 8 months, and 23 days. Jeez. And it says first time chat. Well, thank you for tuning in, showing up in chat for the first time. I do appreciate it. Found you that long ago on TikTok. Okay. Dylan is going to go drain the Rocks Johnson. There you go. I got him with that one. It's just us now. It's just us. Look into my eyes. Don't make this weird. I feel like it'd be really funny to pour a shot of the terrible tequila for Dylan and then pour something that I don't hate for myself. But also, let me check the time. How far are we into the... We're just over an hour into the live stream. But yeah, man, let me think. A year and 8 months ago, on TikTok, would be... Have I been on TikTok for that long? We're in March, so I've been a full-time content creator for a little over a year. Yeah, I guess that would have been kind of right where I was really... Too late, I'm already cranking it. It's weird. That would have been like right when I was becoming really, really popular on my main account, I think. Those were some crazy, crazy days. And that was before I even had like this whole setup. Unfortunately, so many people have missed out on like the multiple camera setup and everything that we have here. And you all are missing out on the music because I am a tech idiot. With all of the equipment and everything that I have, I can't figure out why my computer can't play the music directly to the live stream. I could figure it out, but I wanted to... It's more important for me to go live and be able to talk to you guys. But yeah. Roddy, thank you for tuning back in. I keep looking at that comment. I'm already cranking it. I pulled up the Joe Rogan podcast thing. Is it actually going to show it to me, though? Yes. Oh, Lord. I want to see... Okay, so it's actually... It's a back and forth. So, I think it makes... I feel like it makes sense to have Dylan play Joe Rogan, maybe. And I can do screen directions, and I'll be the guest. And I have my hard drive connected, so we can try and actually record this. Did you want to read the Joe Rogan Experience AI script? All right, I have it here on my phone.
Oh, Jesus.
Let me hit record here on this hard drive so that I can edit it later. All right. No, don't switch to the app. Do we need shots for this?
The fact that you asked that says yes.
Yes.
What do you... Oh, they're there. What do you want?
Well, you really wanted to try that terrible tequila.
I didn't really want to. I wouldn't say really wanted to, but I'm not. Let's just not do that. Let's do something else.
That's fair. I'm looking at the Tito's, but mostly because that's easy for me to take shots of.
I was actually just thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Vodka, for all of its, like, you know, the reputation that you have to be a certain kind of person, you have to be, like, hardened or something to be able to take shots of vodka. Technically, chemically, is the easiest alcohol for you to break down in your system with, like, the least
Why is that?
amount of side effects, because there's nothing in it. It's meant to strip, like, all of the flavor and everything away from the thing it's distilled from.
Huh. The more you know.
Cheers.
Cheers, the more you know.
The more you know. All right. Bear with us because reading the script is going to be maybe kind of difficult. And remembering to look up into the camera may be difficult too.
Are you able to send me that link on my phone so I can read it?
I think so, yeah.
That'd be much easier.
Messages. Oh, wait, hold on. There we go. Manimal. I still have you in my phone as that from Nag's Head.
Nice.
No, that was before Nag's Head. That was when Joel's mom had the thing, I think. Or was it before that also?
That was at Next Head. We were staying with them.
Then what am I thinking of? Because
Were we
I
not?
definitely met you before that.
Yeah, for sure.
It wasn't Myrtle Beach or Charleston, though.
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you where it started. Oh, goodness. Alright, so who's Joe Rogan and who's the guest?
I figured you would be Joe Rogan and I would do guest
All right,
and
that's
screen
right.
directions.
Okay. Alright, you ready?
Yes, I'm as ready as I'm going to be. Just remember the mic is here, so try to project that
Well,
way.
Let me get on the other side of you. There we go.
Alright.
Okay. Scene. I attacked the Mona... Joe Rogan. I attacked the Mona Lisa recently.
Wait, where? I think you started on the second page.
Did I?
I think so, yeah.
I just pulled up whatever you sent me.
Let me send you.
Oh, wait a minute. No, you're right. My fault.
All right, I'll read the intro.
Okay.
And then the first few screen directions. All right. I forced a bot to watch over 1,000 hours of the Joe Rogan Experience, and then asked it to write a Joe Rogan Experience podcast of its own. Here's the first page. Whoop. There we go. Yeah, that's easier for me to read. Joe Rogan Experience. Interior Podcast Internet. Joe Rogan, an experienced man, talks with his guest, a man who has fought a zoo. Their voices might be conspiracies. Joe Rogan.
I have heard if you shoot a bow and arrow at the moon, chemicals pour out, but NASA says, hey, shut up.
Guest. I believe the gym and NASA does not go to the gym. My child is a YouTube video full of ads. Joe Rogan.
Good points. Philosophically, how much money do you think you could kill using only my elbow?
Guest. $Thailand. Oh, God, I can't read that. There is silence. Joe is remembering a pig he has controlled. Oh, Lord. Joe Rogan.
I attacked the Mona Lisa recently.
Guest. My dad did that for a living. Now there are only 2 jobs. Coal miner and Mark Zuckerberg. It's genetics. Joe Rogan.
I read in 10 years your blood will be wearing Under Armour. Your hair will be owned by Elon Musk. I read this on a beef jerky.
Guest. Just look at data. Joe Rogan. Just look at data, Joe Rogan. Just look. Wow, data. Look, that's data. Data is always at the gym. Joe looks at data. We see Joe look with our ears. Joe uses MMA onto the data until it is dead. The police ignore this. Joe Rogan. Supplements.
We are sponsored by ropes.
What the fuck? It's the weirdest.
I mean, it's not too far-fetched.
His stuff is already so absurd that, like, as crazy as all of that sounds, I could see this actually happening. All of this actually happening on a podcast.
It's not too far-fetched. It really isn't.
There we go. And now I have that on my hard drive for later. Kodo, welcome. Thank you for the new follow on Twitch. I appreciate it. How's it going?
How's it going? What's good?
At some point, I also need to figure out how to read the other chats because we're also live on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter.
Oh, Jesus. I didn't know that.
I could try and figure it out now, but we're already like more than halfway through the live stream. And I tried to figure it out last time and I couldn't do it. Docs, maybe? No. I think I have some plugin or something that's probably out of date.
God, do you remember the Dillo Talk episodes we used to do where we just got, the 3 that we did or 4 that we did, we just got absolutely hammered.
We would get so blitzed, then I would go into edit and I would pull like 10 minutes easily from like just the first hour and a half.
We got shitty. Like, we didn't get blitzed. We got shitty.
Yes, for sure.
We got shitty, but it was it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
It pretty much led directly to this. Dylan and I are also working on a separate concept based off of Dillo Talk that's going to be similar, called Remotely Funny. It's going to be more like stand-up comedy and like...
There's going to be a lot of shooting the shit.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more like dialogue-centric. Like more of what you would expect from a one-on-one podcast type format.
Alcohol will be involved, don't worry.
But yeah, alcohol will be involved, and there's going to be a lot of testing jokes. It's going to be a lot of material, because we're both, or at least I don't know about you, but like being able to do a stand-up set has always been like a bucket list item of mine.
It's something that's been creeping more into my mind the past few years.
I think my challenge is that when you see, I need to shave, but when you see this face, camera one, this guy, does this look like the face of someone who can make you laugh? I feel like people assume that I have like resting bitch face. I've made peace with this, but I need to figure out how I need to carry myself on stage to work with that, because like the actor who plays Kylo Ren.
Adam
Adam Driver. He has like a very dry wit, but if you've ever listened to his interviews and things like that, he is actually funny. He is a way of delivering that does make you want to laugh. And I feel like I need to figure out how to do that for myself.
You can. You will.
I'll figure it out. We
need to get for when Remotely Funny kicks off, we need to get like our like a show poster or like we should definitely do that.
I feel like I could, because I've worked on posters, promotional stuff in the past for some segments that I've done here. I don't know what the graphic would be. I don't want to do something as trite as like a remote,
right.
Because the idea is that it's remotely funny because we are not like in your living area or whatever, and the people that we're interview are probably going to be remote. They're probably going to have to like call in through Discord or something.
I think it would probably look good if, I mean, you don't have to do it, but like if a graphic artist or somebody just draws us or like does some sort of, like animates us basically on the poster. Like not actually like a photo of both of us, but you know what I mean?
A rendering?
Yeah.
Yeah, like an impression of what we're like.
Yeah. I think that'd be cool. That'd be the way to go. Because we're definitely going to need something like that, you know?
I feel like so much of... Yes, for sure. I could try and do that because, like, if you've seen the animation that plays here in the middle, when people follow and stuff like that, I did that by hand.
Oh, yeah?
The animation where there are two, we've only seen one of them tonight. When people follow, you see an animation where it's like a silhouette, like a colored in sort of silhouette of me going... There's another animation that is... I don't know if I'll be able to do this, but there's another animation when people subscribe, which costs money, unless you have Amazon Prime or Twitch Prime and you haven't used your Prime sub yet, in which case you can use it now to see what animation I'm talking about. But there's another animation where I take the shaker and pass it back here and grab it and shake it again.
Yeah,
I did that one by hand as well.
Nice.
I feel like I would do stuff like that for when people tune in.
Yeah.
Would we...
We just need something we need to... as it's kicking off and once we start releasing episodes and streams, just something we can share the shit out of everywhere. Like a promotional thing we can put on IG, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube.
Format it a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
Probably having like a banner.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, it has the potential to be like a brand in and of itself, which is kind of what I wanted for my channel.
And that's kind of what I'm getting at too. Like,
yeah.
It needs to be like it's like a separate thing, a separate entity.
Yeah.
Which is why I even said all that to begin with.
And I feel like if we can get enough traction on that, then that's another thing that we could use to like leverage like an actual show with the network, which is another like end goal for me, is actually like having a segment somewhere. Not something as intense, I guess, as like a night what would you call like a night show or a...
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to go that route. We don't want to go that route.
No. I think more something where we would plan to like travel somewhere and there would be a crew that travels with us. There would be a production house. There'd be someone else doing the planning, and like I would be able to just be the talent. It's kind of what I do now.
All those late night shows have the same format. They're I honestly don't really understand why they're still a thing anymore. Like late night shows, like back when Jay Leno, Johnny Carson, the original iteration of Conan, like those are like a big deal back in the day. Like that's how a lot of comedians got their big breaks. How a lot of people really even, got their name put out there. But now, like in the age of Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok.
Yeah, I think unless you're
you have to be
Fallon, no one is watching your stuff. People are watching podcasts that scratch the same itch.
Yeah, you kind of already have to be established to benefit from those late night shows, I feel like. Mm-hmm. And maybe not even. Because I gotta believe those shows are not pulling in ratings like that. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I feel like late night shows kind of for me fell off after The Daily Show and The Colbert Report. Like after Jon Stewart left The Daily Show, because he really exposed by
like really good parody and satire exposed like all of the machinations and everything about like late night talk shows. And after seeing that, it's just kind of hard. It's like you've seen behind the curtain now, and we've seen so much behind the curtain because there are so many seasons of that, and no one is, in my opinion, has really even come close to replicating that level of wit and sincerity.
Agreed. Did you know Jon Stewart has a new show out now?
No, I didn't know that.
It's awesome.
It's
literally only been out probably 3-4 months. It's called The Problem with Jon Stewart. It's on, I think it streams on Apple TV.
Oh my god.
I know another
streaming service.
Exactly. Just find on YouTube.
Did you know in Switzerland they don't have all of that nonsense? Like there are so many shows that you can get like The Big Bang Theory on Netflix in Switzerland. All of the stuff that like the DC like movies and shows and stuff that they have on like the DC specific platform, everything from Peacock and all of that is just available on Netflix in Switzerland.
We're doing it wrong here, man.
Yeah, I agree. Hannah and I were so misled. We got so excited because we were like, oh my god. We were watching like Titans, which is a really good show from DC. We started watching like The Big Bang Theory. And then we got back to the U.S. and we were like, cool, we know what shows we're going to watch just to pass the time when we get back. And it was like, where is it? Well, I can't find it. And then we realized, I think Big Bang Theory is on Peacock and Titans is on DC Universe.
I got Peacock's. I have Peacock. I got it specifically just so I could watch The Office.
That's fair. I just recorded an Office AI script today. But like, you might not have been able to tell, but I've had like a sore throat and I've been really congested, so like I couldn't really do any voices. And also, it's kind of hard, like I can tell sometimes the difference between where people speak from, but like replicating people's affect that is like so minutely different is difficult for me. Like doing the difference between like Yoda, Jar Jar Binks, and C-3PO is very easy, but like the difference between like Michael and Dwight is kind of hard to do. Like for Dwight, you can just speak from up here, and that would get you close.
Do you have an Office hot take? It's such. The reason I'm asking is because it's such like a popular, ubiquitous show. Like, do you have a hot take about The Office? Just about anything about The Office. Characters, writing, plot, story, anything. Anything you can just fire off.
No, not really. I mean, even like my biggest gripe is that it feels formulaic. But even when you can tell the show is following the same episode format as an episode that you've already seen, there is always actually, and it's something they do well, they manage to mask the story elements, things that actually carry through from episode to episode.
Yeah. Like
their storylines, they get you to actually invest in the characters while also making it feel like a documentary, which is supposed to be removed.
Yeah. It's such
which I think is really cool. They're like, the gags, in my opinion, get kind of old because you see kind of the same thing over and over again, and like you just know that like, oh, Jim is gonna screw over Dwight.
What kind of blew me away, like, because I only started watching The Office like within the past year. What blew me away is how popular cringe humor is, and B, how much I enjoy cringe humor. Because, like, I guess before that, I just always saw, like, random clips or something.
Are you the kind of person who gets embarrassed for people on TV? I have such deep shame that when I see someone about to embarrass themselves on TV, even if it's a fictional character in a fictional circumstance, I can't watch.
I have gotten that way before. But, like, it's never stopped me from watching something. But I definitely get, like, there's a lot of times where, you get, like, the creep on the back of your neck. Like, I'm just sitting there, like, I mean, I'll muscle through it. Like, I still watch it. But, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. But I guess I never knew before watching The Office how popular cringe humor is and how well it can be done. Like, they almost kind of, like, pioneered a sort of a new subgenre of comedy, I think. There's been
I think so.
There's been examples of cringe humor before, but like they nailed it. They
do a good job of knowing where the joke is and knowing what's funny and knowing how to punch it up. And there are certain things that they also know are off limits and distasteful. Like, they make fun of Michael for being completely inept, at
everything.
Like,
practically
facile, effeminate, all of these different things. And he's always the butt of the joke in just the right way.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Oscar is gay. And there are jokes that revolve around the fact that Oscar is gay. but the fact that he's gay isn't funny.
Yeah.
In the show.
Correct.
And they managed to do that very elegantly.
Yeah.
Get a VPN and set it to Switzerland or a UK VPN. That sounds like another step. I'm the kind of person that when I buy bread, I want it in one bag, not two.
Facts.
So I'm willing to just eat it in this instance. For now. But I guess a VPN would be cheaper than like buying Peacock and DC Heroes and all of these other things.
A VPN has to be about the same amount you're paying for your 7 or 8 streaming services, probably.
That's true.
What's a VPN go for? Like a
I don't know. I want to say it's probably $15 to $20 a month. I may be wrong. It might be less than that.
It might.
I can't imagine it's more than that. Because it's like a port forwarding service or something like that, I've got to imagine.
Yeah.
We're going to find out.
It can't be much.
Who's the one that everyone's sponsored by? Nordic VPN?
NordVPN. Gucci Gang says you can use WinScribe for free. Is WinScribe good? Is it reputable?
Get 2 years with 70% off and win extra subscription time. A 2-year plan is $3.50 a month.
$3.50?
Yes, $3.50 a month.
Not bad.
I might look into that when I get home.
Not bad.
Because I don't know how complicated it is. Is it as simple as like you install a software and then you tell it where you want your thing to be based out of? And also, is that going to fuck up all of my live streaming stuff? Is that going to slow down everything because now my live stream has to bounce between a bunch of new servers?
My initial thought would be that your VPN... I use a VPN for work, but that's not quite the same thing. But my initial thought would be... So, like, when I use a VPN on my work computer, all of my internet activity and connectivity is through my VPN.
Mm-hmm.
So, I wouldn't think it should affect all your streaming stuff. I don't think.
Or it may be something that I could toggle on and off. I mean, my internet connection is strong enough as it is, but...
Right, yeah.
Also, if I begin, like, uploading through my Wi-Fi on my phone, and my Wi-Fi is technically feeding up to a server in Switzerland, for something like TikTok that typically feeds your videos to people who are nearby, that means that suddenly people in the US are going to stop seeing so many of my videos, in theory, and then, like, a bunch of people who speak a bunch of other languages in Switzerland are going to start seeing them. Granted, pretty much everyone in Switzerland spoke English, except for, like, 1.5 people, like, literally.
How big is Geneva? You said Geneva, right? What's, like, the population, do you know? Like, is it a big city?
It's meant to be, but it's also the 5th most expensive city to live in the world, so...
Goddamn.
They have, like, a large metropolitan population. They have a lot of people who work there, but because of the Eurail system and everything, like, I'm sure there's a lot of people who live in the outlying towns and stuff that are nearby.
So, like, Geneva proper is probably a couple 100,000 people.
Probably something like that. Let me check. Population of...
So you got to be a baller to live in Geneva, basically.
Yeah, actually, you were almost exactly right. That was 2017, but
yeah,
198,000 people. Zurich is the largest city in Switzerland. It's with almost 500,000 people.
I think we should go back. So I even went to start with. You should go back with me.
I would actually like to do that. I feel like that would be a really fun, like, bachelor party thing to do. Super expensive, but, like, maybe we probably wouldn't.
That's right.
Because Hannah and I have also... I am engaged now. Hannah and I have been looking at, like, more travel plans because just the experience of, like, being able to see family and, like, being in a foreign country was really, like, enthralling and revitalizing for both of us. Like, even the second day we were there, even though we were spending most of our time, like, trying to get on the right train and, like, running from between different train stations and trying to get the right Uber and trying to figure out where to find Wi-Fi and stuff like that. Even though we were doing all of that stuff, I felt more myself, and even though we were doing all that, suddenly I had the energy back to make jokes, and it was like everything was funny to me, and I could make fun of nearly anything.
Cool.
I'm sure I was insufferable to the other people who were there because like humor in a foreign language typically does tend to come off as just sarcasm or snide remarks.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there were a lot of people who were kind of upset with me because, especially when we first got in the airport and we were going through the train stations, I could not shut up. But I also thought if I stopped talking for long enough, I would pass out.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a few people like, oh, this fucking American.
Yeah. But like, if we were to go back, we probably wouldn't go back to Geneva. If we were to go back, we'd probably fly directly into Lille, France, which is really cool. Time-wise, you can grab a high-speed train into Paris and back pretty easily if you book the train ahead of time. And it's also a 30-minute drive from there into Comines, which is where my family is in Belgium. So we decided if we were going to go, the next time we go back to Europe to visit my family, we would probably fly directly there. And Lille is also a beautiful city. And we went through Paris. And Paris is beautiful. To my personal preference, I prefer Lille. But we looked at like the plane tickets. The cheapest thing that you can find to get to Lille and back is like almost 800. Well, we'll say $750 per person.
That ain't bad.
It's not that bad. Not really. And you could spend like 9 days doing that. 9 days, or you would be well over a week. And then you start spending a lot more money on like where you're going to stay.
Yeah.
So we were also looking at the next trip that we want to make, since this one we got to visit my Belgian side of the family. The next trip that we make internationally would probably be to Bogota, Colombia, to visit the Latin part of my family and the Colombian part of Hannah's family that her dad married into. So her stepmom's family.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah.
And if we did that plane ticket is closer to like $250, $300.
Yeah, man, I'll go. You'll hardly even notice me. Oh. You and Hannah can do your thing. I'll just tag along.
Who is this with you? That is our mute nanny.
Our mute Manny.
Manny, yes.
Our mute Manny. I'll be sure whenever we go back to Switzerland or Colombia, I'll be sure to make sure my beard's all long and red like it normally is.
There's lots of people that live in France that work in Geneva and vice versa. Soft borders. You should try Amsterdam. That's another thing. So if we fly into Lille and we're staying between there and Comines, Amsterdam is only a 4-hour train ride. So like we could get like a couple days Airbnb there, or just make a day trip out of it. The thing, day trips though are kind of difficult with jet lag and stuff like that, because you wake up at 2:30 in the afternoon, and at that point you're like, well shit, now if I get ready and then I jump on a 4-hour train, then I'm gonna get there at 7 p.m. and I have to figure out when I need to get my 4-hour train to get back. Granted, it's Amsterdam, so they might actually just never close anything.
I would think not.
But I do think that would be interesting. Maybe that would be my bachelor party.
Dude, let's do it.
I feel like Hannah would be jealous.
Hey, you know what? That's all right. She'll get over it.
We could try and plan, because also Hannah, we're engaged, but we decided that we would be fiancés for a significant amount of time, because we agree that it's an important stage in a relationship, that it shouldn't just be the bridge between your relationship and your marriage. So we do want to stay that way for a while. So we're probably not actually going to do any wedding planning or anything for a while. So this is like a trip that we would plan maybe like 2 years from now.
That's fine.
And I feel like it would be really...
I'll be available.
We could set it up in such a way that I would want to go, and we would spend less money this time, because we learned a lot this past trip to Europe. But like we would buy our tickets and stuff, and then I would just tell my friends who have passports like you, I would probably try and pay for Jean-Luc and my mom. But everyone else, I would be like, hey, we're going to be in France from like here to here. We have places to stay and stuff like that. If you want to come to Europe with us, like, we can, more or less, we can show you around. My French is terrible. C'est très mal. which is like, by the way, that's a whole conversation that I can have after this. But I feel like that would be a fun thing to do, and that probably has a higher chance of actually like evolving into like hijinks and stuff in the city.
Oh, dude, I already can't wait. Bachelor party overseas. Let's do it. I'll be available.
We would have so many people who... There are people who are already really confused by Hannah and our situation over there because they were like, what do you do? And I never introduce myself with my social media stuff. I always just tell people, oh, I'm a bartender from the U.S. We're both bartenders from the U.S. And eventually they kind of realized that there must be something else going on. And Hannah and I actually started doing this really cool thing where I didn't have like my regular wallet, which is this tiny little thing. I had like a travel wallet, which is one of those that's like thick leather and opens up. It carries your passport, your boarding passes, all of your credit cards, your ID. There's like a zipper and then like 2 back pockets. And Hannah had this really small notebook that I tucked in one of the sleeves. And we found a pen while we were traveling. We stole a pen. And what we decided to do is if we were being taken exceptional care of and we found a place that was really cool, we would tear one of the pages out of the notebook and write on it in English and say, thank you so much for taking such great care of us. Like, we feel like family. We feel like we're back home. And that means a lot to us. Thank you so much. And then at the bottom of it, I would say, aussi, which in French means also, Google, which is a ubiquitous term now, Cointrick Twitch. And so if we ever came back to those places, they were always like,
smart.
Yeah, we looked you up. What
the fuck, man?
Why didn't you open with that, pretty much?
The fuck, man?
And because of that, too, we got invited to a pretty, well, in my opinion, a relatively well-known bar because it's the only bar in France that I had heard of that I could name. Because the first bar that we went to was Dernier Bar à la fin du monde, which means Dernier, which is the name, bar at the end of the world. And it was so cool. There was like gaming stuff, like board games, comic book stuff, just a bunch of like nerd culture, fantasy, sci-fi stuff in there. And the bartender there, his name was Luke. We were there the first night that we were staying in Lille because it was actually pretty much behind our Airbnb. And so we went in there, we sat down. He spoke English with us, which was really nice. And we had a great time. So I left him one of those notes, and we came back the next night because they were open late. And he was like, dude, I looked you up. Like, you should have told me that you're like into mixology and that you're not just a bartender. And I was like, yeah, I don't like being treated differently, if that makes sense. And he goes, I totally get it. And then he was like, look, if you really want to find like a really good spot, there's a bar that is maybe 200 meters from here called The Joker. And as soon as he said it, I knew I'd heard about it from cocktail competitions. And he was like, yeah, that's like an actual like reputed or reputable mixology and cocktail bar. And he said the barman there, his name is also Luke, had just won some like widely recognized award or something. So we were like, okay, we'll go over there. And he goes, no, wait, I need to give you something first. And he came back with a Joker card. And he had 3 different kinds, but he was like, here, take this, bring it with you and show it to them. Because they make a new one of these every 3 months. Or they make a new one of these every 3 months and they change their menu every week.
Wow.
So if you show them this, they'll know somebody sent you. And when we got there, we were like, yeah, I don't... Actually, when we first walked into the bar, they were trying to get everyone's vaccine stuff. And everyone in Europe, because it makes more sense, had like a QR code on their phone. And the host or the bartender sometimes would have a scanner, and he would just go, hey, I need to see your ID or your vaccination stuff. And they would just go, oh, okay. Boop, boop. I'd scan it on your phone. But of course, because we're idiot Americans, we had a paper pass with handwriting on it. So we were trying to show him that and the passports and everything. And the guy's like, I'm sorry, but here in Europe you have to have 3 vaccinations to be out in public, and here it says you only have 2. and we were trying to explain to him we have the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which is only available in the US and the UK, and that is only one shot, but we do have a booster shot that we had gotten less than a week ago. I think the guy behind the bar heard me because I said, look, we're both bartenders from the US. We just wanted to sit down and have a shot before we go back home. And he was like, yeah. And the barman, which we found out was Luke, came out from behind the bar, and he goes, it's okay, listen, we can sit them down. All right, they're from the US, we'll figure it out. And so he walked us over to a barrel to sit down at. And he was kind of deflated because he was like explaining all the menu and all the cocktails and stuff. He was very excited, obviously, to explain how everything worked. And we were like, yeah, okay, but like we don't have a whole lot of time. We just wanted to know, do you have Fernet Branca? And he was like, man, you guys really are bartenders. And he was like, yeah, we have Fernet Branca, which, by the way, is incredibly difficult to find in Europe for some reason. So we had 2 shots of that. We had 2 more shots. He saw the card that we got, and he said, who sent you here? And we said, Luke from Fin du Monde. And he was like, oh, dude, that guy, I want to be on his level.
Wow.
And we were like, what weird show did we just fucking walk into? What kind of weird period drama?
How cool. Yeah, you walked into like the Swiss Peaky Blinders. Swissy Blinders.
It's French. The Lily Blinders.
Yeah. Better.
But yeah, Lille was beautiful.
That's cool.
If we were to go back, Hannah and I already decided we'd probably, even though the walls are fucking paper thin and nothing is insulated enough because all of the buildings are too old and they're all like historic buildings, so you can't really super duper modify them. We decided we'd probably still try and stay as close to Fin du Monde as we could. And also just the whole city. I can't really do it justice describing it. I feel like you just have to go.
Like I said, you'll hardly notice me. You won't even notice I'm there.
It's gonna be Dylan and then like Rosalie on his back, like.
Exactly. You won't even know I'm there. And then we go to Ireland.
Who is that with you? That's our mute.
Manny.
Manny. He's also deaf. Don't try talking to him.
Yes. I gotta have
I would love to try and do that as a whole bit and just like to ask Hannah to record us doing that.
Oh, dude, I could sell it this shit. I can give the silent treatment to people like nobody's business. The real silent treatment, a.k.a. being deaf and being a mute. I can totally do that. I can sell
also,
that.
you would stick out there. Like, the guys there are sort of... They're not exactly built like me either. But, I mean, I guess they're built more like me than like you. I tended to be tall amongst most of the men there. And a little bit leaner. But, like, you and Jean-Luc would stick out a lot.
Nice.
They also always assumed... It's funny because we would be sitting at a bar next to 2 other Americans, and the bartender would come over and go, bonjour, listen, here are the menus, we serve cocktails, here, this is the food and stuff like that, and then he would come immediately over to us and go, bonjour, ça va, ici le menu, and just like immediately launch into it in French, and we would go,
no, I'm lying.
oui, merci, et ça, qu'est-ce que c'est? And then, like, because I knew a little bit of French. But the thing is, like, my accent was just good enough that they would be like, what you said doesn't make sense, but the way you said it made it sound like you knew what you were saying. And so they would be like, quoi? Qu'est-ce que c'est? And, like they couldn't hear me. And so eventually Hannah would speak up in English, and they would go, ah, tu parles anglais. Oh, okay. And then they would just default back to English, which is kind of annoying sometimes, but...
Yeah.
It's nice to have that safety net. And we got much better service because we tried to speak French. And because we clearly understood. Hannah sometimes understood more French than I did. Because she speaks hands better than I do. I have an uncle. I have 2 uncles that speak pretty much no English. They speak more English than they're willing to let on. But they speak pretty much no English. But they speak so much with their hands when they're talking that we knew what they were saying pretty much 90% of the time.
Gotcha.
like enough that we got the jokes that they were telling.
That's pretty cool. She could pick up on that.
A lot. The club owner in Geneva translated a joke for us, and he was like, so this really funny video, that's not what his accent sounds like, because he's actually Afghani, but or I think I just default to French, but like Swiss French sounds different. He's been there since he was 5. But he was saying like, I just heard this really funny video, but he's from like a French comedian, so I don't know if it's going to maybe be funny if I try to translate, but I try. And the joke was, have you ever like turned on the news and you hear something like, so-and-so dies in a tragic parachute accident? Like, how? What? Like, what part of this was an accident? You were perfectly safe when you were on the ground. You decided to get up in the plane, and then you thought to yourself, I know a shortcut.
Yeah.
And the way he delivered it was actually really funny, even though he was trying to translate it. He doesn't do himself enough justice, and like he says his English is bad, but it's actually very, very good.
Oh, cool, man. Sounds like a really cool trip.
It was fun. I want to go back.
I'll be there next time.
Now I want to go to Bogota, though. There's a lot of stuff to do in Bogota.
Hell yeah.
Maybe a fewer people that speak English down there, but that's okay because my Spanish is much, much better.
Shit, you want to talk about sticking out? I mean, probably definitely more so down there than in Switzerland, I would imagine.
Yeah, you would be King Kong in Bogota.
Yeah.
Jean-Luc is like
Diddy Kong.
he's almost tall there.
Damn.
Yeah. I'm like
I'm King Kong.
chin, like my head above most men when we go down there.
I'm King Kong. He's Diddy Kong.
What does that make me?
You are...
It's me, I'm Mario.
Yeah. Luigi. You're Luigi.
I feel like Jean-Luc and I could pull off that cosplay. I could be Luigi. Jean-Luc could be Mario. You would be Wario. Nick would be Waluigi.
That'd be great. If we can ever get together for Halloween or just a reason to dress up like that, we should totally do that.
I like this plan. Oh, actually, I have 2 other travel plans. I'm going to... Brain. I live a very weird life. I have 3 other travel plans, actually, this year. I have Tales of the Cocktail, which Gucci probably has heard about it before, but it's a relatively well-known bartending, hospitality, and service industry convention in New Orleans that I have been invited to be a panelist for. And our panel just got... We're still in the process of submission, like the application process and stuff like that, but we're one of the few that's been selected to move forward in the selection process.
Wow.
So that's going to be sick. I'm excited for that. But that's at the end of July. The very next thing that I'm likely traveling for is the City Open again this year.
Oh, okay. It's up in DC, right?
Yep. And that's at the beginning of August.
Nice.
So the PR agency that's working with me because they're actually setting up the panel for Tales of the Cocktail. I just remembered I have a meeting with them, I think tomorrow at 2:30. They recommended that I take July 20th through July 30th. But they also don't know that I think it's because they want me there to do a few other things before the event actually kicks off. In the city, which I appreciate. Hopefully we have some kind of funding to help me get down there. The other thing is that the City Open is directly after that, so I would be taking like some crazy 3-point flights to get everywhere that I need to go. And then the last thing is in October we have Twitchcon, which is in San Diego this year. I feel like it would be fun to try and invite more people to TwitchCon with me. I mean, it would be fun to try and invite people to Tales of the Cocktail with me, but you could try and make it down there if you can get time off of work.
I can get time off of work, bro. Yeah, PTO.
I'll figure it out. Because I've gotten used to traveling alone, but now that I've traveled with Hannah again, I kind of remembered that I tend to have more fun when I have someone else there to either keep me grounded when I need to be grounded, or encourage me to be adventurous when I
Thanks.
want to play it safe.
Thanks.
Hannah is very good at being able to read when I really want to do something, but I have trouble motivating myself sometimes. And she also can tell when I feel like I'm being forced to do something that I don't want to do. And she while we were in Europe, she was very good about saying, like, we don't have to do that. We don't have to get out of bed. We don't have to get on the train. We don't have to go anywhere. We could just spend today in Geneva. And we did that twice, and it was 2 of the best days that we had, even though all we did was walk around the city.
That's awesome. That's cool, man.
Coming with us next time.
Yeah.
Do you and Erica have your passports?
I do not. I don't. She might have to renew hers. So that would need.
John-Luc has his passport now, so next time I travel, go see family thing, I definitely want to try and bring my brother and my mom with me if we go to Colombia, because in theory, and my grandparents are great. They own a condo in Bogota, but I never want to assume that they're just going to like let me stay there because I'm family. I don't know why I have that hang up. I just do. But if I don't have to pay for a place to stay, and the plane tickets are like a third of the price that it costs us to go to Switzerland, and I'm not paying for your rail pass and stuff like that, I should be able to eke out some money, carve it out for a couple more tickets. The other thing that we have to worry about is, can Rosalie travel well? Granted, the plane to Switzerland, the longest stretch that we had was 10 hours.
Yeesh.
I would never ask her to do that in her current state. But the plane to Bogota is like an hour and a half from CLT, or from Charlotte to Miami, and then like I think 2 hours from Miami to Bogota.
That's not bad at all.
Which is not bad at all. Yeah, like I could reasonably just keep Rosalie in my lap for all of that time.
Yeah.
But I think I need to talk to my grandparents about like, hey, when are you going to be there? Is it okay if we use the apartment? And I'd probably do the same thing I did when I went to Belgium, and reach out to some of the family that's still there and tell them like, hey, we're going to be visiting, and since we're only going to be so far away and we don't really get to see you guys ever otherwise, like I'd really like to try and plan a day or a couple of days that we spend together. And knowing them, it would probably be like one day in Bogota showing us like cool things that they like to do, and then another day would be a family day in the La Finca, which is insane now. It's crazy. It's like I don't want to call it a mansion, but it's very well appointed. Finca is a farm, by the way. But typically farms in Colombia aren't farms the way that you would think of them here in the US. It's not like a farmhouse where you go out and you milk the cows and you collect the eggs and you scramble them up. Like a farm there, in my experience, tends to mean that there's
cocaine.
Well, it's more like a plantation, and I don't like calling it that, but there's like the owner's house, which is beautiful, well appointed, lots of room, and then there's like different housing for the people who actually work the land and stuff like that. So it's a vacation home for them. Yeah, it's essentially it's a plantation. They don't grow anything there. My my grandfather, I think, my uncle once removed, I think he still breeds polo horses, or he keeps polo horses there. My cousin once removed, Rafa, who's actually shown up on one of these live streams before. He played polo. I don't know if he still does.
Is polo the shit when you run around the horse and you hit the ball with the stick?
Yeah, it's hard as shit. It's so hard.
Yeah?
Yes. Have you ever golfed?
Not truly. I mean, I've been on a driving range and I played putt-putt, but like I've never.
So you've had to try and hit a golf ball with a thing.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to do that from the top of a horse, except your golf club you can only hold in one hand and it's twice as long.
How big's the ball?
And your horse it's the same size as a golf ball.
Is it really?
Yes.
Doesn't sound like a well thought out game.
It's really difficult. Jean-Luc is preternaturally good at it, but that's also because for some reason he's very good at riding horses. Jean-Luc is... Well, you guys have never seen me dance, but Jean-Luc is as good at riding horses as I am at dancing, meaning there isn't any reason that I should be as good a dancer as I am, and there's no reason Jean-Luc should be as good at riding horses as he is. But here we are.
I'm not good at either of those things. I've never been on a horse, and not known for my dance moves.
They might have to have you like straddle two different horses, Jean-Claude Van Damme style.
Riding two, yeah, or like riding two, but I'm doing a split over both of them.
Yes.
Just
Our Uncle Ranford also has a trotting horse that we got to ride, which is painful. When a horse trots, the different gaits that a horse has determines how you're supposed to ride in the saddle. So when it's trotting, which is how a horse like walks, it's a very like, it's very percussive, because their feet are just going, they're stomping.
yeah.
So that they don't launch forward. So when they're doing that, you kind of have to like, I look very silly when I do it. I look very sexual when I do it. But
Yeah,
when
you
you
do.
ride the horse, you have to go on like every other beat when the horse goes down. Otherwise you're going, which just looks awful. And then when it gallops, it's a lot easier because the horse, you can kind of feel the rhythm of the hooves, and you can just kind of bend your legs so that you stay level while the horse is running.
Huh.
Which is terrifying. I'm scared of riding horses, actually.
It does. It's not on my bucket list. I mean,
I would pay good money to see you ride one of our horses.
yeah, that would be a sight to see, to say the least. Fucking getting up.
How'd that gorilla get up on that horse?
Getting up on the horse would probably take me 10, 15 minutes, probably. Just trying to figure out how to get on it and sit on it comfortably and get my nuts situated.
And with that, guys, that is the end of the live stream. I'm keen to try and do one more shot if you are.
Let's do it. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Let's do something easy.
Some dang old Tito's.
That's a funny thing that happened in Belgium. So you've heard my family call Jean-Luc Tatoon.
Of course, I call him that because
Okay.
I've heard that. Yeah.
So when we were kids, that was a nickname that my dad gave him. The nickname that he gave me was Punez, Punez, which sounds like penis, and my brother never let me forget it. But when I asked my dad what it means, he was like, "Oh, it doesn't mean anything. It's a nonsense word. Like Tatoon doesn't mean anything." And I was like, okay. And then I heard my family use it a couple of times while we were in Belgium. And the first time I asked, they were like, "What? No, I didn't. No, that doesn't sound familiar. I don't think I said that," which seemed weird to me. So the second time I heard it, I was like, "I know for a fact you just said Punez. What does that mean?" And my uncle Bertrand was like, "Well, it's not exactly a word. It's just like a thing we say, but it means little shit." I laughed. It's the hardest I laughed the entire time I was with my family. And they were like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "My dad called me that my entire life, and he never told me why. And when I asked him, he said, 'Oh, it doesn't mean anything. It has no meaning. It's not a word.'" And they were like, "No, it's something you say when you're annoyed with your children or whatever."
That's great. That's a perfect way to end this.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, everyone, thank you for tuning in, sticking around, showing up. I do appreciate it. Thank you for all of your help and support. Hopefully, we have been helpful and supportive as well. That's why we do all of these shows that we do. Look out for Remotely Funny. I'm going to start working on some of those graphics. The next time that we're going to be back behind the bar, the next time I'm going to be back behind the bar is going to be Monday. Because Mondays, Tuesdays, I may be back here on Thursday. But those are really the 3 days that I can consistently come back here.
So next Monday will be the last time I'll be able to stream for probably at least 2 or 3 weeks because this is getting done next Tuesday. So.
And you're going to be on medication.
I'm going to be pilled up, son.
I'm jealous. Anyway, so it's probably just going to be me, or it's going to be me and Jean-Luc or some other host, guest that I can bring on here. But again, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. You don't just make this stuff possible, you make all of this stuff worth it. So the next live stream from here is probably going to be Monday, unless, surprise, surprise, if I have the time to do something on Thursday.
And then otherwise, the next live stream I'm going to do is going to be tomorrow, 7 p.m. EST, but it's going to be gaming centric. It's either going to be 7 p.m. or it's going to be early in the day. But if you want to see those updates, it's going to be on Discord and on Twitter, and you can use those commands in chat already if you haven't to jump to jump into those servers and stuff like that. Until then, enjoy all of the TikTok videos and stuff that I'm putting out, and hopefully we see you guys next time. Until then, be good, be kind, be helpful, and we'll see you all next time.
Adios.